fastest, most violent wind on Earth. A raging whirlwind with killing force, bringing destruction with devastating power to our raging planet.
I'm crazy to go forward.
Before it hit was a tremendous roar.
It's not like a train to me, it's more like a high-speed dynamotor, electrical dynamotor. It whirls and whines.
It went boom. Glass flying everywhere.
Sucked all the air out of my lungs and tried to turn me inside out.
Enough raw force to push freight trains off their tracks, blow cars into the air, rip houses out of the ground, and hurl people hundreds of yards.
The house moved at least 100 yards, maybe a little more, and up and down the road, all over, there was nothing left. Everything was destroyed.
Tornadoes happen all over the world. They can occur wherever thunderstorms develop. Spain, the 31st of August, 1994. A tornado rips through the small town of Espluga da Francoli, tearing out power cables as it goes along. August 1st, 1989, the Clane Peninsula on the coast of North Wales. From the bottom of the cloud, with no rain and no lightning or thunder, a tornado suddenly drops down. Japan gets its share of severe weather. This tornado struck the city of Yokohama on the 7th of April, 1997. Later, it was strong enough to wreck a train in Yokosuka. Another big city tornado appeared suddenly near downtown Miami, Florida, on the afternoon of May the 12th, 1997. Despite its terrifying appearance, this monster injured only 7 people before it rolled out into Biscayne Bay. Tornadoes have power well beyond their size. If you're within a mile of one, your life could well be in danger. Sometimes tornadoes hunt in packs. A storm will spawn a whole family of tornadoes. And that's what happened in Arkansas on March the 1st, 1997. 20 tornadoes touched down in 5 hours. The town of Arkadelphia was worst hit. About a third of it was destroyed. The worst hit areas were given between 15 and 30 minutes warning to prepare for the strike.
I told my sister, I said, it's getting loud, we need to get in. And we went into my mom's walk-in closet, And I turned around and looked, and everything was whirling around, and that's all I remember until my sister pulled me out.
We were in that. We were under that in the house. I thought we were going to be dead. I thought we got killed. But I'm the lucky kid.
America endures more tornadoes than any other country on Earth. Tornadoes strike with terrifying force and astonishing frequency, killing an average of 80 people every year. Sometimes a lot more. Stretching from West Texas to the Dakotas is Tornado Alley, 1,000 miles north to south, 600 miles east to west. This is the area struck most often. It's the heat that drives them. In spring, the warm, humid air traveling north from the Gulf of Mexico clashes with the cool, dry air moving south from Canada. Where these airstreams meet, huge supercell thunderclouds begin to build. Each supercell is a vast breathing creature. Air is driven violently up inside the cloud, where it cools and plunges down again. These violent up and down drafts collide and twist around each other. The entire cloud becomes a titanic mass of wild, turbulent air, 12 miles high and perhaps 20 miles across. This is the creature that spawns the tornado.
Oh, what a classic.
More than 900 tornadoes touch down in America every year, most in Tornado Alley, making this area the tornado capital of the world.
Oh, look at this base. Look at this base.
This couple, Dixie Joe and Davy Crockett, live in the center of Tornado Alley. They've had more than their fair share of bad luck. Their house has been destroyed on 3 separate occasions.
This is our home. We're not going to move. If it blows us away again, well, we'll build again.
The supercell that produces tornadoes has a huge circular motion. The whole storm spins like a monstrous top. The actual tornado is much smaller and drops down from the base of the supercell cloud. This is a computer model of a supercell. The computer's been programmed with mathematical equations which predict how the storm may behave. The tornado is usually only on the ground for about 10 minutes. But it can travel fast, up to 70 miles per hour. Its base may be only a few hundred yards wide, but within that footprint, the winds are monstrously strong and fast. With such a short lifespan, forecasting them is extremely difficult.
The least you can do is sit down.
America's first tornado preparedness film was made in 1956.
I gotta keep watching the southwest side. It's where most of them come from.
You think it's likely?
No. The odds are way against it, even in weather like this.
When this film was produced, just 3 tornadoes had been captured on film. This one was filmed in Corn, Oklahoma in 1951. This tornado struck Warner Robins, Georgia in 1953. 19 people were killed. And this one hit Scottsbluff, Nebraska in 1955. These images were the first powerful reminder to the unwary of the overwhelming forces of tornadoes. There is a scale of tornado power running from F1 to F5, rather like the hurricane categories. These gentle wind swirls caught on video at a Vermont picnic are dust devils, weak spirals of air that are entirely different from true tornadoes. And in the superheated plains of Africa, these harmless dust devils are a daily occurrence. F1, the lowest level of a true tornado. It can pull shingles off roofs and flip over mobile homes. Winds in the funnel range from 73 to 112 miles per hour. An F2 knocks over boxcars with wind speeds of 113 to 157 miles per hour. An F3 can uproot trees with winds up to 206 miles per hour. An F4 flattens houses and hurls cars and trees hundreds of yards through the air. But beyond them lies the rare F5. The power of this monster is unimaginable. It can lift strong frame houses and launch them through the air. Steel-reinforced concrete structures can be ripped to shreds, as they were in Gerald, Texas in May '97. Wind speeds of 318 miles per hour. The real challenge is to predict where the next tornado will strike and warn the public.
Moisture convergence showing up in through heat.
These are the guardians of the public at the Storm Prediction Center. They're the people who must warn of dangerous weather over the whole of the United States. As the tornado season starts, the researchers watch every storm in Tornado Alley. Any one of these storms could spawn a tornado at any time. The question is, which storms will, where, and when? The raw data they use comes from satellite images and a complex network of radar stations scattered across the country. The stream of information is endless. They use powerful computers to look for patterns that will allow them to predict the future. But some forecasters still prefer the old-fashioned ways.
Been done by hand since, I guess, meteorology started, so it gives us a better feel for what's going on in the atmosphere in close to real-time situations when we analyze the observations by hand.
8462.
8462.
That's quite reasonable for southern Minnesota.
Okay, tornado warning out of Sioux Falls, eastern Brule County. Tornado was indicated by radar.
May 1996. The tornado season has begun. It's late afternoon in Tornado Alley. This is the time of day when the first supercells begin to reach maturity. This slow-moving storm appears calm, even beautiful, but this is a dangerous time. 50 miles away, the Weather Service is watching the storm with its sophisticated Doppler radar equipment, looking for the signs of tornadoes. Doppler radar measures how fast an object, like a raindrop, is moving towards or away from you. In effect, it's measuring wind speed.
Looks pretty reasonable over here. 45 knots a shear.
The extreme sensitivity of Doppler technology is beginning to transform tornado tracking from an art to a more exact science.
Starting to get a hook on it.
It might hit that little town called Ware or be somewhere close to them.
Yeah.
This is a time of extreme uncertainty. Even Doppler radar cannot provide enough detail to predict exactly what will happen next.
But the storm structure reveals itself better with over the...
The only answer is to have observers on the ground. Jim Leonard is one of an ever-growing handful of people who hunt tornadoes for a living.
Now they call it a cone wall cloud. Oh, right. It didn't really exist. Who's they? The scene coming up hopefully might make it...
He spends each spring hunting storms in Tornado Alley and relaying back information on precisely what's happening.
That storm was piddling for the longest time and all of a sudden took off.
The extraordinary skill of Jim and the other tornado chasers is being in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, but it's the same kind of mushy stuff we kept watching yesterday that we kept thinking would go into a tower and never did.
Yeah, we were thinking heading down 70 and blast west there if it looks like it's going to go.
Across Tornado Alley, a series of thunderstorms are forming. One begins to rotate.
It's moving, it's going to take another 3 to 4 hours before it may get over toward Eastern Lake.
It's 4 p.m. At the Storm Prediction Center, the radar screens and satellite images are not looking good.
I still think it's going to be somewhere in the Watertown area.
They will soon have to issue a series of general watches. These are advisories to be prepared in certain areas across the country. It means there's a strong risk of severe thunderstorms developing over the next 2 or 3 hours.
Hi, Buffalo. This is Mike Bishop from the Storm Prediction Center.
Yes, how you doing, Mike?
Good. We're going to have to tack on south of the current watch, I believe, based on what I'm seeing developing in Ontario County.
Yeah, it looks like it's just all developing on the southwest flank.
These are the kinds of storms that could generate tornadoes, but it's still too early to issue a specific tornado watch.
Severe thunderstorm watch number 393.
Okay.
We'll start it at 0Z and end it at 4Z. It'll be 30 miles either side of the line.
By late afternoon, numerous thunderstorms are powering up over Tornado Alley, too. Rich Thompson is an old friend of Jim Leonard, who's out there on the plains. Rich calls Jim.
Hello.
Hey, Jim, this is Rich.
Hey, Rich.
Well, I was curious if you've seen any indication of rotation.
Yeah, well, there was 3 storms along this bunch here.
Yeah, they just look tired right now.
Okay, it looks kind of messy on radar right now, and I'd be prepared to have an outflow boundary maybe approaching you from the northwest in the next 45 minutes or so.
Oh, really?
Chance that it could turn into a line of storms.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, take it easy.
Bye.
Tornadoes are not the only danger that storm chasers face. Jim Leonard often has to deal with another form of potentially lethal weather: hail. Any thundercloud can produce ice, but the hail from these supercells is unparalleled. The stones come so thick and fast that they turn the entire landscape an eerie white. On the 5th of May, '95, a single hailstorm hit Fort Worth, Texas, and did $1.3 billion worth of damage. Jim Leonard captured this hailstorm in 1989. The size of these hailstones was incredible. Some were the size of baseballs. Hailstones can severely dent cars, as this research vehicle shows. These are Doppler radar scanners mounted on trucks. The Dopplers on wheels can nearly always get closer to tornadoes than fixed radars. But in 1996, the research team hoped to go one better. Their goal? To send an instrument package and camera right into the heart of a tornado using a remote-controlled helicopter. If they succeed, they will make history by getting a view from inside the funnel itself for the very first time.
If I could convince myself this could work.
The helicopter carries a camera, a pressure sensor, and a thermometer that Frank Gallagher put together. Jeff Bell piloted it from the ground. This year, the team of scientists was led by Josh Werman. The helicopter carried a tiny radio transmitter with a range of 14 miles that would guide them to the wreckage wherever the tornado dumped it. Early May, the tornado season is on. The Doppler on wheels heads for Tornado Alley. The tornado is hunted like a dangerous animal. The next 6 weeks are the scientists' best opportunity to catch their prize. It's Josh Werman's job to get the research team to the right place safely, close enough to a tornado to take their readings.